Good morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. on September 10th, 2025. We got the Nasdaq futures contract up here. Let's take a look at what we got going on today and what happened yesterday a little bit. Um, we've had some news come out this morning. PPI numbers lower than expected. So we're seeing the market reacting positively to that with the hope of a rate cut with lowering inflation. So I'm just looking through this. Um, yep, market's moving to the upside. Here, ooh, we need to wake up. I need a cup of coffee or something. Something's going on with me this morning. Let's take a look at the daily chart. We looked yesterday at a few levels to the upside, which we've clearly broken through, and now we've come up to this all-time high mark. I suspect probably going to get a pullback here from it. You know, there's going to be some retracement from the PPI move to the upside. We'll see what it wants to do up here, but you know, it's looking a little overextended. Um, Looking for trade setups today off of this. You know, we had this. I'm trying to pull my pen here. There it is. We had this level. Gosh, guys, I'm not prepared today. This was on what, Friday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, this was Friday's high. Yesterday we had this drawn out this week. Came up here, tested it, poked through here, came back, and now we've clearly made a move through it. And we are now up at this all-time high right up here. So, you know, big area of resistance to the upside. If we look at a weekly chart, however, it looks like, you know, we still have a lot of room to go here. I suspect we'd want to come up here to 24. You know, I keep saying at 25,000, it's just a big psych level. So we've got this big pocket right here. We're probably going to move up through here momentarily within the next, maybe next week, week after that. So no reason to sell any of your swing trades. Keep those swing trades in your account. This thing is going to keep moving up, in my opinion, unless World War III starts or something happens. Although with Israel bombing Doha, it might. I don't know. It won't, but you know. What do we got going on here? We can just look at this price action real quick. You know, we talk about fair value gaps a lot, and I know a lot of people trade that. You know, you can see a fair value gap forming here. And, you know, what are fair value gaps? Really, fair value gaps are just, you know, for me, just low volume nodes. And we can see here as we draw out that fair value gap, this is an overnight session volume profile. You can just see the higher volume node here. And obviously, just look at price, right? And then below here, where that fair, quote unquote, fair value gap is, you've got a low volume node providing support. We'll see if this holds or not. Typically, if price starts to move back in through here, it goes pretty quickly back through. So looks like it is finding support there, and maybe we get that push to the upside. We'll see what happens when the market opens. But Delta right now is positive 2,800 coming in, still in the overnight session, still in pre-market. So I do not trade pre-market, but you know, something to note. This LVN should hold, in my opinion. You know, although on the open maybe it comes and crashes through, and then you know other low volume nodes form as the market session, as the U.S. session goes on. So, you know, I'm not really seeing much on here except we've got a bullish move to the upside, bullish fundamentals, bullish price action. Don't chase price. Wait for good entries. This thing here looks like it wants to push back up to 27. Just draw a descending trend line on that, you know, something like that. And you'd expect it now to move back up into here, or at least up to '07. It's only 6 points, which is a scalp. Yeah, I wish I had more stuff to the downside. We break this LVN, then you're looking at, you know, VWAP. Oops, wrong pen. Then you're looking at it to move back down to VWAP, which is here. There's a support level there. VWAP maybe back down to pre-PPI news. It may come down here and do a wick and then make another move back up, a liquidity grab, all that stuff. Lots of options on the table. Just gotta let the market open, see what happens with it. Let me move some of the stuff off here. Still trading this take profit trader evaluation. I got a few of them, but this is the one I'm just doing on the live stream. Copy trading over to some other accounts too, but really just you can see the P&L on there. Trading micros on this bad boy. Taking it easy. Just trying to focus on the trading, getting that back down right. I've had a rough few months, so just trying to get back in the swing of things. Getting that move up here now. So tempted to take a long, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to not trade pre-market because I always get burned. And that has been my forte. My expertise is getting burned in pre-market. Yeah, guys, just looking bullish to the upside. I like to say wait for a pullback. I keep saying it looks bullish, and we can look at what happened yesterday. Yesterday it looked bullish too. And, that was over where in here looked bullish, and we got that big drop to the downside, right? We came right down to that support level, which we had drawn out, which was over here. I've taken it off now. Came right down to that level, like to the wick, to the tick, sorry, and just wicked away from it. Now we're ripping back up. So it can be tricky to trade, particularly if you're trading large size. You can see how the sub channels kind of formed here on the hourly. Moving in that. So we're at the top of that channel. Probably don't want to. You could, it may just want to come up here. It may just push right here and come right back up. You really need to watch what happens. How much are we up today already? Only 0.5%. It's definitely got room to move today. So maybe if you can get a nice pullback, start building into a long position, be prepared to withstand some drawdown. Um, might be the way to go. Start with 1 or 2 micros and build up to maybe 5 micros or even 10 micros, a full size mini. But buying in this area um, within the profile, or even down here, building into a position. So yeah, just gonna have to let market open. Watch price action, watch delta, watch order flow. See if we can't find an opportunity. But it may trap a bunch of folks up here, and then all these longs that are long up here are going to get stopped out here, and the price just falls, and then some bears will jump in, and um, some bears will jump. Trying to clear that out. Some bears will jump in, and then it'll come down here and wick through here, and then make that move right back up, and some bears will get trapped down here, and just getting chopped up. Trading's hard. It's not clear cut. Wish I could come on here and say this is what's going to happen, but you never know. I would be bullish on it. You could, if the market was open, I'd be looking at taking a long here. The market's not open, so I'm not going to take it. All right, guys, that's kind of what I'm looking at today. Gonna let the market open, let the price move around. See if we can't find an opportunity. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a good trading day. I'll see you back here later. Bye. So, guys, I just want to take a real quick second here to point out some really nice delta divergence on the ES contract, not the NQ, the ES. Again, we saw delta divergence on the ES yesterday, and seeing it again today. Market open. We've just pushed down consolidation, right? But look at delta on the ES as this is consolidating. Delta is just moving up. You can see buyers trying to push this thing higher, aggressive buying. We took a couple scalps long on it. I typically don't trade the ES, but when you see something like that, it just provides a really nice opportunity. So yeah, just wanted to point out that divergence before the market keeps going on. We've had this morning, that kind of quote unquote dump on the open. The NQ is looking more and more bearish right now. That's not to say that by the time the market closes today, we're not up, but I can throw it up here. I haven't taken any trades on the NQ. It looks like it wants to drop. This kind of discrepancy between the ES and the NQ is always kind of a red flag for me. But yeah, it looks like we're just pushing down here. Again, we've taken out that low, the PPI low. Let's see what it wants to do here. We had talked about this possibly coming down, doing a liquidity grab down here, and then trapping some bears and then moving back up. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but we're just going to sit on our hands for a little bit and see what it wants to do. I'm not, we are below the open on Delta, but we're above the zero line. So I don't think bears are completely in control. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some sort of liquidity grab down here, right at that pre-PPI level. That we just kind of pull through and then we come back up. But let me see if there's any other. Yeah, we're also coming down to this support trend line on the hourly, so may not be a bad place to start building a long position. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching order flow, keep seeing what's going on. Might start building along. We'll see. Okay, guys, so we're back. Probably gonna take a break from trading here for a little bit, but one thing I wanted to point it out was this delta divergence we got going on with the NQ contract. Look how price here is moving up, but look at delta. Delta's moving up here with it, but as we get up into this area, we've got delta just dropping now. So right around here, as price is making new highs, delta's actually putting in lower highs. And now we've got a lower low. So this is kind of screaming to the short side, although this over here on the 5-minute kind of looks like it wants to break out here and move up. I'm really cautious of it, just on delta. Almost took a short in here to try to capture some of this little scalp, but I'm just sitting on my hands for now. When you're doing these prop firm evaluations, you want to keep in mind the consistency rule. So you don't want to be making too much money in one account each day. So for these 25K accounts, really you only want to be making about $300 a day, because there is a 20% consistency rule. So this account is done for the day. I actually went over a little bit, and I'll have to switch to another account here in a second. But just wanted to point out that delta divergence. We can see delta now dropping. I bet a lot of people are thinking that this chart pattern here looks like an ABC pattern where we have to push up, pull back, push up as we break this descending trend line. But delta is just not going along with it, so I'm really cautious of it here. We did get that move down here, like we talked about a few minutes ago. Well, it's been longer than that now, but for you guys, it's been a few minutes. Got that move down here, then we get the push back up. Liquidity grab to the downside. We did see delta go along with it. So some interesting trade setups going on. Are we going to bust up through this to the upside? I just don't see it here. Maybe. I don't know. The ES is more bullish than the NQ today, so I don't know. Might take some more trades later, but for right now, I'm gonna take a break, go take some coffee, might take the dog for a walk, and you never know. All right, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm gonna be live streaming again 8:10 a.m. tomorrow morning, doing the pre-market analysis stuff. So I hopefully will see you guys there. Bye.